Hey review family, keep it tight. My name is Jay Morris, the review guy, reviewing music for the love of music, and I'm back again to bring you another video. And in this one I'm going to be covering the new Gatecreeper record entitled An Unexpected Reality. This is, pun unintended, an unexpected surprise album from the Tucson, Arizona death metal band Gatecreeper. Through a variety of labels throughout their timeline, this band has been consistently dropping records that are as meaty as they are slow, sitting atop the throne of just gunk and slime and mud, really causing some major waves for those that enjoy their death metal to sound chunky as hell. They were not always particularly for me. Their last record, while okay, for me personally was pretty much just that, okay. They tend to be far too long, far too one note, too slow and steady, and was really not aided by some base level production that really didn't do it any favors either. But when I found out the news that they had dropped a surprise album, I went in with my fingers crossed, although apprehensively crossed, because contrary to what some people might think about me being, a stoic hard ass that will just base everything on the past, I genuinely do like giving bands the benefit of the doubt. Possessed. And I can say that this is not only Gatecreeper's most interesting outing that they have ever done, but one of the coolest turnarounds, sickest turnarounds in any death metal band in recent years. As a bit of a background, the band themselves did not want to spoil this record with any sort of singles, so the thing that they did in anticipation is make it one major listening experience. That's why it's a surprise. They very much intended this record to be the type of thing that you listen to in one go from start to finish. Because this bitch sits at only 8 tracks and 17 minutes. Cycling through tracks that are equally inspired by thrash metal, grindcore, and namely, hardcore punk. I mean, hell, when would you have thought that for Gatecreeper, Black Flag would have been a major influence on a record? And some of the quicken blazes on the opener, as well as the tracks Sick of Being Sober and Super Speeder, or the noisy intro of Imposter Syndrome, just give off why I think this record is so badass. It's Gatecreeper in all of their heaviness, with their muscular riff riding and their muscular ass vocals, but with the addition of these hardcore punk crescendos and these shrieked vocals that will go toe-to-toe with their normal deep guttural death metal growls, and noise and distortion that will pierce the mix in ways that I have never heard from this band prior. And most importantly, tracks that will catapult one track into the next. When they say it is a singular listening experience, they genuinely mean that. Listening to this record from start to finish in one setting will give you that impression. The first 7 tracks, none of them reach 2 minutes. They're all under 2 minutes, some of which are below 1 minute. You would go into this thinking it was a grindcore record, and the funny part is, many of these tracks and some of the portions of said tracks can feel like they fit that bill. Throttling and exhilarating, relentless, non-stop cycling through these progressions of different vocal techniques and different riff riding and different structural elements, and a production that just buffs it all up, and then you add in the noise and the distortion, and this just sounds like a newfound band. But it is still very much Gatecreeper, and fans of their past releases, of their more death metal centric patterns, are still going to get a lot out of this record, because they did not tweak their formula so much that it ruined the whole thing. They didn't reinvent the wheel, they just made some minor adjustments to make the wheel less squeaky and make it run better. Basically, the analogy I'm trying to use is these motherfuckers use WD-40 on their sound. And then the final track, Emptiness, pops in, which has officially taken the cake of my favorite Gatecreeper track. And leading up to this track, as I was listening through, I was like, this is fantastic. And I held that sentiment every time I listened to the record, but as soon as this track busts in, it is so much different than anything else, but it feels like the perfect cohesive ending to a record that is this apocalyptic, this dystopian, and this conjured up by the civil unrest and just the general bad weather that we are going through. This is a dirge. What I'm about to say is something that just seems so out of the realm of what I would have assumed Gatecreeper would have ever done. It is a dirge in the sense of these low plodding melodies, reverbed out low guttural vocals, and atmosphere that feels straight out of a funeral doom metal band. A torturesome tone that just gives off that entire aesthetic. The track reaches over 11 minutes. And even when it speeds up a tad, which I think are some of the more more uninteresting moments of this specific track. It never quickens to the same pace as nearly anything that came before it on the record. It is securely within the doom metal lens, and I think that's practically insane. Even in the past, when Gatecreeper turned more slow and chuggy and doomy, it was still heavy enough to just be 100% death metal, just a slower version, more akin to some of the early band. Never in my life have I heard Gatecreeper go into this direction. And they do it so well. Take Gatecreeper years ago, even just a bit ago on their last record, and tell me that they were going to come out with a surprise record that is equal parts hardcore punk, grindcore, and doom metal as it is death metal, and I would call you crazy. They act as chameleons here. I'm floored by this thing. It's fun, it's exhilarating, it's diverse. It just blew me away from start to finish. It's a great listening experience all the way through. There's really no lulls. With repeated listens, it just becomes more and more sick how great this record sounds and how well the influences panned out, and the execution of said influences is great. It's mind-blowing. Perhaps there are moments where their really rudimentary death metal can still come to show itself, but because these tracks are moving so fast and there's so much packed into them, it's really hard to tell, and they overcompensate even when those tracks do pop up. I know that a lot of bad in the world influenced this record, and I don't know if Gatecreeper are going to go back to their roots. If they did, that's perfectly fine, but for me, this is the best thing to come out of Gatecreeper's canon, and seeing them just emerge from the fog to come out with a record that is this great this early into the year, I really am loving this thing. I've already listened to it about 5 or 6 times, and I definitely think I'm going to be listening to it more. Highly suggest this, especially if you haven't liked Gatecreeper in the past. Give them a shot. Give them the benefit of the doubt. They will surprise you. Take it from someone that's been pretty hard on the band for a while. I'm going to be giving this album an 8.5 out of 10. And that is a wrap. Have you heard this new Gatecreeper record, An Unexpected Reality? If you have, let me know in the comment section below what you thought about it. I would love to discuss this record with you. Be sure to like this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe to join the review family today, and smash that notification bell to be notified of my future uploads. You know who it is. My name is Jay Morris, the Review Guy, and I'm signing off saying farewell.